All right, everyone, welcome to another YouTube video. And today I'm going to show you one of, I think there's probably several free tools that you can use to estimate your tax liability. And this is going to be perfect for people that can quickly gather the documents and gather some quick estimates as to their pay, withholdings, and stuff like that. And so this is going to be important, and I'll show you why in a second. I'll just give you one quick example. But before I go any further, there are three things I want you to do if you're getting value out of my videos. First, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Second, like this video. And third, share it with your friends. And I'll add a fourth one, kind of like a PS. Click the bell. Like if you want to be alerted when I release new videos, click the bell and you will be alerted when I have new content. So without further ado, I'm going to start talking about this tax calculator. Now, the one I'm going to talk about is called Taxcaster. It is a product from Intuit, the same people that make TurboTax. It actually works pretty well. Now, is it professional grade software? No, but it can be a very, very, very handy tool for, people with relatively simple tax situations. Now, when I say simple, this doesn't mean if you have rental properties or you have a Schedule C with a lot of moving parts, all that stuff going on, then I would recommend that you consult a tax professional and then they can run your stuff through a mock tax return. That's probably going to be your best approach there. So, but let's focus on this free tool. And the whole point of it obviously is to try to get you to buy TurboTax and all that stuff and blah, 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 blah. But you can use it to kind of estimate your tax refund. Now, this is an estimate and it is only going to be as accurate as the information that you provide it. So garbage in, garbage out. So if you're putting wrong information in, you're going to get a completely wrong estimate. But if you put in, make reasonable estimates and get your information, get some documents together, pull some information up, you can do really well with it. So let's start here. The basic question is always going to ask you, are you single or are you married? Let's say you're single, you're going to file jointly. Okay. Now, let's say, what is your age? I'd say 30 years old. What are your taxable wages? Now, this would be from a W-2. We'll say $100,000. Any unemployment benefits? No. What are your federal withholdings? And let's just say, I look at my paycheck and I had, we'll say, I don't know, $7,500 withheld, right? And what you see is this number changed a little bit. What are your state withholdings? Well, let's say you live in a tax, a state that doesn't have tax. Your spouse is 30 years old, and there I go, just randomly typing stuff. Let's just say that she made $50,000, and no, she didn't have unemployment benefits, blah, blah, blah. Maybe she had $2,500 withheld. And you can just see, I'm just putting in numbers here. I'm just putting in numbers here that will, you can just key in whatever numbers you want. I'm just keying in random numbers. Obviously, pull your W-2, do your estimates, and see where you're going to land. Now, this screen is actually very important here. These will be, you will not have to check every box. You only check the ones that pertain to your situation. And even when you check a box, there might be questions within that don't pertain to you. That's fine, but you want to kind of think, what they're kind of doing is big picture here. Do you have kids? Do you have education payments? So did you pay tuition for college? Do you own a home? If you own a home, you have mortgage and property tax considerations there. Charitable contributions. Did you contribute to a retirement account? Other deductions and payments. Are you self-employed? Do you own a business? And do you have, taxable and other taxable income? Let's just say here, for sake of this example, you had a couple kids. You have we'll take away this, that you had some investments, and we'll go from there. So we'll say you have two kids. They're both above 6. So, and I'm going through these questions fast, but you can read all about them. They don't have childcare. Let's say you have family that watches them. Did you get an advanced child credit? This one's important. What this basically is telling you is, did you get money up front as kind of like your child tax credit? So if you were getting checks between July through December, like every month, you'll want to enter in that number here. And this is important because it does affect your amount that you owe. So anything like that, get it right. Childcare expenses. Did you spend money on daycare, so on and so forth? If you did, enter it in. Maybe you had short-term gains and losses. And we'll just use this $10,000 example. No long-term gains, whatever. We'll go through here. And so now what I'm looking at here is I am looking at I am estimated to owe $5,600. And you can go through this and see why. So what it's showing you, if you click this little arrow, you can kind of get a little quick summary. There's your total income. Now remember, that's your short-term gains of 10,000 plus what the spouse made of 50 and the taxpayer made 100,000. So you have 160 there. This is your standard deduction. Everyone would get that at minimum unless you can itemize. So then here's your taxable income, the calculated taxes. These are the credits. Now this would be like your child tax credit, so on and so forth here. And then your tax payments. This is what you had withheld out of your paycheck. So this is what you're going to owe. So now you're like, oh my gosh, what can I do? And so this is where we look at some potential opportunities. And if you've been on my YouTubes, you've been on my Instagram, you've probably heard me talking about tax loss harvesting. And we're going to play the example here and show you how this will work. Now, if you probably didn't see, I entered in here. I did not get a stimulus rebate credit in March, and so I'm assuming that. But let's see how this changes with a simple tax loss harvesting calculation here. Now, I do need to go through all of these. This is what I hate. So you have to kind of go through all of these and click on them and so on and so forth to get back to where you want to answer. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. It's not very easy to get to, but it is what it is. So let's say short-term gains and losses. Let's say you have a bunch of losses. And so let's say we'll zero that out, okay? We're going to zero this out because you have $10,000 of losses that you can take. And so you're like, hey, this might lower my taxes. Well, let's see. So you have this $5,600. Look what happened. Look what happened there. It went from 5,600. Let's do that again. Let's do this again. You went from owing $5,000. We're going to round numbers here. Okay. To owing. So 49.75 to 26.25. So give or take a $7,500 swing in that situation there. Now, what happened? You can look here and say, okay, my income's up to 150. This is the same, down 10,000, makes sense. My taxes dropped accordingly. You would expect that. You're in a 22% bracket. So you would say that, but look at this, more tax credits. You get a lot more tax credits. So that helped you. And you also are getting the stimulus rebate, which I don't think is actually shown on there. It might be shown as part of the regular taxes, but that's going to be a part of it too, is your child tax credit went up that you get because it goes down after $150,000. So that went up, but you also are getting that March 2021 rebate that was $1,400 per person. You're getting that now. So that is a big swing. I mean, that alone with a family of 4 is $5,600 of that $7,500 swing that you just saw. So I don't want to get too caught up in all of that, just to show you how you can use this tool and perhaps use it to pull some quick numbers to figure out opportunities on how to lower your taxes. Now, you don't have to do it, through tax loss harvesting like I just showed. You could do a charitable contribution, stuff like that. So just at the end of the day, what I'm trying to show you is just an opportunity on how you can save money on your taxes. And, again, this is a great tool. They actually do, and I might have said this at the beginning, they have apps on the iPhone and Android. So if you want to look at that, I highly recommend you do so. It definitely is a fantastic tool. So I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments. Also, I'm on Instagram and on Twitter. So if you have questions there, be sure to check it out. And again, like, this is a great tool. I highly recommend you use it if you have a relatively simple tax situation. Pretty straightforward, and obviously you're comfortable putting in your information. It can really kind of play, if you play around the numbers, you might really be able to save on some taxes and come up with some moves on your own to help lower your taxes. So I hope you guys all have a great day. Stay safe.